All righty. Hi, everyone. It's Monday, April 27th. We are in a record month right now for Arbonne. We haven't seen activity like this, promotions like this in a really long time. And it's so incredibly exciting. And I just want to congratulate all of you. And I am just thrilled to welcome our guest, because this business isn't just about this month. This business is about building a future that will last. And this business is about understanding the principles of how to change people's lives, starting with our own. And so Jerry is the one that can guide us in that. He's been a friend for years. Jerry's a personal mentor. He coaches, I don't know how many VPs, Jerry, do you coach right now?
Over 100 probably.
Okay, over 100 VPs, and your volume is a little low.
Okay.
I just turned mine up, so.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
Yep.
Okay.
But very rarely can we not hear you. Jerry loves to, he yells with love.
Yes.
He's been there. He is there. He's in the trenches. I love Jerry because of his wisdom, because of his passion. And you're going to see by the things he shares today how applicable Jerry's wisdom is, okay, to our business, you guys. So like I said before, the faintest ink is better than the greatest memory. Get out your pens, get out your paper. And I do want to share how this came up. So I coach personally with Jerry, and last week I had met with somebody, and I went through the scenario of how she brought up how her husband had his business looked like it was going to close, and I asked her a lot of questions, and then it just didn't go where it could have. And I told him, Jerry, there's got to be a way to be more effective. Sometimes I ask myself, if somebody else were in front of this person, would they have been led to have an appointment? Would they be starting the business? And I'm convicted by that, because if I can help somebody, I want to raise my skills to the level that if this business can make a difference for them, I want to be able to lead them there. And so Jerry, like the next 10 or 15 minutes, it was like I couldn't write fast enough. He ended, and I just said, boom, oh my gosh, how can my team know this? And he said, well, you can schedule a call. And I'm like, how about Monday? So thank you so much, Jerry, for all the value you add to everyone. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Jody, when I go back and start traveling again, I'll just take you on the road with me and have you introduce me everywhere I go. That would be a beautiful thing. But my friend, thank you. First of all, Jody and I, not only do we work together, but we're really great friends. And you just do things to help your friends. And so when Jody asked me to do this today, I just said, well, hey, no better time than the present. Let's do this. And so thank you, my dear, first of all, for putting this together. Second of all, I have to give a shout out to truly one of my faves. You are too, Jody, but I mean your mom. I mean, come on now. Julie, hello, my dear. It's good to see you. Glad to see your mom is something special, man. I've always loved your mom. Your mom has always been so wonderful, so supportive of me when I got started, and always has been. And I just love you, Julie. I just want to give you a shout out to that. So I'm excited to see you all here. Almost 80 of you. That's amazing. And I'm going to share a call with you today that I think will be a game changer for some of you, if you really get what I'm going to talk about. And I happen to be lucky enough to share this exact call, with 15 different teams last week and over 800 people. And the feedback and the response that I've been getting through texts and private messages and emails has literally just blown up my phone. And I'm just so blessed and grateful for that. And so when Jody and I were talking and she was sharing that to me, I kind of gave her some sprinkles of what this call was about. And then she said, we got to do this on Monday. And so this is what we're going to do. And so the title of this call I'm going to share with you is called Breaking the Pattern. And I'm going to talk to you, for those of you that may not know who I am. If you expect sugar-coated, tell me what I want to hear kind of stuff, you have absolutely come to the wrong call. I do not sugarcoat anything. I tell people what they need to hear. I'm raw and real. I don't apologize about it. I yell with love, which is just another word for having passion for what I do. And so this might be not only a great training, this might be an enormously different experience for some of you than you've ever had before, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, if you get the message, that's all that really matters to me. So breaking the pattern. One of the things that I have learned in studying success for the last 35 years of my life is this. You can take any successful person of any business, anywhere, and successful people have patterns of things that they do on a consistent basis that helps them become successful. Then you can take people who are unsuccessful, maybe you're struggling, and they also have patterns, but they have patterns of things that they do inconsistently that keeps them from becoming the success that they're capable of becoming. There's patterns in our minds that we have. And you know, this last week, you guys had an enormously new experience, the first ever virtual GTC. And how great listen, as much as technology is a pain in the you-know-what sometimes, we need to be praising it right now, because without technology, there would have been no GTC at all, period, end of story. Without technology, there would be none of this to help us stay connected in this time. So I'm just praising social media. I'm praising technology, even though it still drives me nuts and screws up. I'm just grateful that I have technology that messes up than not having any technology at all. So let's just be grateful for that, okay? So you went to GTC, you came out with 17 brand spanking new products. People, like every year, lost their mind. Strawberry protein mix, just had mine this morning. Strawberry fizz stick in my bottle, love that stuff. The greatest mystery in all of America was solved. Which fizzy stick are we getting back? I mean, people couldn't sleep for weeks. It was like, those of us that grew up, you remember this. There was a show called Dallas, Who Shot JR? It was like the biggest thing ever. This was bigger than Who Shot JR? What fizzy stick are we getting? It's strawberry. People were happy. People were sad. It doesn't matter. It is what it is, okay? So that's all said and done. So I've been doing what I do now for over 8 years. I can't even believe that, Jody. It's been 8 years. It's just, phew. And I just solely coach, train, Arbonne leadership. That's what I've been doing for 8 years. And so I have, in some indirect way, been involved in every GTC that's happened in the last 8 years, because I coach and work with people on their mindset before they go to GTC. And then I coach and I work on people's mindsets when they come back from GTC. And now I have a unique perspective because I coach and work with so many leaders. It's almost like if I'm up in space looking down on Earth, I can see a whole different view from up there than you see being on Earth. So I can see a whole different view from the top than even you might see in your own teams, because I see so many of them. And you know what I notice? There are patterns. And here's the pattern I see. People come back from GTC, jacked up, fired up, pumped up. What Jody said, what's going on? It's happening all over the place. There is no doubt for these three things. April will be one of, if not the best, volume month that many people are going to have. No doubt. April will be one of, if not the highest promotion month that people will have all year. April will be one of, if not the highest income month that some people will have all year. That is absolutely a given. That is the pattern of what happens when we come back from GTC. But I also see the pattern that happens after. And if you stretch this out into the middle of May, here's what 8 years, what I've seen happens. There's going to be people whose businesses are going to slowly taper off. There's going to be some people's businesses who are going to start going down. Some people's businesses will go right back to where they were before GTC started. And some businesses are going to just keep blowing and going. So the question is, what is the difference between all of them? And the difference is the pattern of thought. We come back, for the most part, jacked up about all these new products. And our pattern of thinking is sell, sell, sell. Hence the largest volume month for many people, because we're focusing on selling, selling, selling. Is that important? Of course. That's part of your business. But that's only part of your business. Imagine if we were out on the lake and we were going to be rowing a boat, a canoe, a kayak, whatever. And they give us 2 oars, okay? Well, you and I know that if we start to row our little boat, you know, row your boat gently down the stream, you know, remember that wonderful nursery rhyme when we were kids? And we're rolling our boat with 1 oar. Listen, it won't take very long before our arms are tired, our boat's going very slow, and we're getting almost nowhere. But if you put both oars in the water and you're rowing at the same time and you're distributing the energy between both your arms, well, you're going to be able to go a little bit faster. You're going to definitely be able to go a little bit farther. And so the first message I want to teach you is this: stop rowing your Arbonne boat with 1 oar in the water, because it's only going to get you so far, and then you're going to start going in circles. You got to put both oars, and both oars represent both parts of your business. 1 oar is sales. 1 oar is sponsoring. And we need to have them both in the water, moving at the same time. But when we come back from GTC, for the most part, the pattern that I see is the sponsoring oar is in the boat, but the sales oar is just going and going and going and going. And I'm almost out of people. I've talked to almost everybody I know. I don't really know who else to talk to. Oh my God, it's the beginning of May. I'm getting tired. What am I going to do now? Your other oar's in the boat. So if you want to grow a business way beyond April, way beyond May, if you want to grow a business well into the summer and beyond, the pattern of thinking that you have needs to shift. The old pattern of selling, selling, selling needs to be replaced with a new pattern of thought. And the new pattern of thought needs to be this: I am going to be building while I'm selling, not just selling and forget about building. Let me say that again. I'm going to be building while I'm selling, not just selling and forget about building. Because we see selling and building as almost these 2 individual things. They're separate from one another. Our minds, a lot of people's mindsets is one or the other, one or the other. That's not how you grow. When you take these 2 things and you meld them together so they're intertwined, it's not I'm going to sell and not build, or build and not sell. No, they're intertwined. You like, I sell and build and sell. I do them both at the same time. That's a new pattern that's going to grow your business well beyond the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's the person that has that mindset. I've been in this profession for long enough. I built my own network marketing company long enough. And if I'm wrong about this, Julie or Jody, you can tell me, but I have not met a leader, a high quality leader, an MVP, an ENVP. I have not spoke to one that sold their way to ENVP. They built their way to ENVP, and as they built, sales were a byproduct of the building process. So if your NVPs did that, why do we think we're going to do it any differently? We got to build while we sell, not just sell while we build. If you're all with me, raise your hand just so I know that you're okay, good. So with that thought process in mind, let's move forward. Let's talk about where we are right now. Okay? We were told months ago that we were going to end up being quarantined for 14 days. Some of us thought, well, hey, 14 days, a staycation. Great. I'll hang out, get caught up on the honeydews, do some stuff. 14 days, I can handle 14 days. Well, we're still here. And so a lot of people are getting restless, nervous, scary, fearful.
Jerry, I'm sorry. Somebody shared their screen.
Yeah, somebody needs to, yeah.
Do you see the name?
Yeah. Lois Staggers.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody needs to get off their screen. You shared your screen. Loistagers. If that's you, you need to get off sharing your screen.
Yeah, so go to the bottom and click turn off screen sharing. It should be here. Let me.
Hold on, people. We'll pick up the momentum in a minute.
Okay, hang tight.
It should say stop share at the top in red.
Oh, at the top? Button. Okay.
There we go. Thanks. Okay.
Great. Thanks.
So, no problem. Back we go. So 14 days was no problem. Now it's a whole different ballgame. We're scared. We're nervous. People are at home. They've lost jobs. Businesses are closing. People are getting laid off. People don't know when they're going to get out of quarantine. When are we going back to work? They're sitting at home. They're struggling. They're worried. They're concerned and all of that stuff. And I will absolutely bet you money that if you were to ask people in the world today, what is the greatest concern that you have? I guarantee you losing weight, getting healthy is important. But I asked what's the greatest concern. I would guarantee you that wouldn't be the answer most people would say. I would venture to say from all that I've talked to that the greatest concern people have is money, is finances, is what am I going to do? People have waited for their stimulus checks. Some people have them, some people don't. But let me tell you something. That's not going to do anything for anybody. Because at the end of the day, they get $1,200 from the government, goes in their account, goes out their account the same day it comes in, they're back in the same place. So people are at home and they're stressed. And they're worried about finances. They're worried about all of these different things that are going on. They're worried about their kids, and are their kids going back to school? Parents are losing their minds. I mean, all this stuff. But I want you to think about this from a perspective standpoint, okay? People's greatest concerns, for the most part, is centered around money and income and stuff like that. Here we go, with no fear, no hesitation. We don't overthink it. Don't even worry about what people think about us. And we can go into people's homes that are in this place, wondering what's going on, financially strapped. What am I going to do? And we have no worries talking to them about being involved in the 30-day detox, 30-day healthy living program. $266.40. Aren't you impressed, Jody? $266.40 with the discount. So I'm trying to give you some perspective. People's biggest concerns today are finances. Without any hesitation, we can go into those people's environments, share the value of the healthy living, the 30-day detox, and get people to invest $266.40 to get on the 30-day detox, and we don't even have a second thought. Those same people, to talk to them about the greatest product you have, your business, and how you can teach them how to help, make an income from home to alleviate the stress they're under for $49. And all of a sudden, our lips are glued shut. All of a sudden, we can't talk to people about that. Oh, no, I can talk about the healthy living all day long. But the business? Oh, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. I can't talk to Joey about the business. Are you kidding? I mean, Joey just lost her job. I mean, she's home with her kids. They're worried about finances. Well, we can talk to them about the healthy living program with no problem whatsoever. I want you to think about this, my friends. because this is about patterns, changing patterns. I want you to think about that. People say, I can't talk to Jody because of her situation. But the true champion says, because of Jody's situation, I've got to talk to her. I've got to share this with her. I've got to let her know. I've always said this. I believe the greatest gift you have, or really the greatest gift that anybody in network marketing has, is their business and the ability to help people change their lives through their business. The products are going to get done no matter what. But why are we so afraid to talk about the business? Well, let me tell you one thing that you got to do. If you're going to talk about the business, first of all, you have to believe in the blessing that the business can give people right now. You have to believe wholeheartedly how this business can really help somebody, how it can make a difference in their lives. Because this business can teach people from home how they can generate an income. Now, guess what? You can't talk about how much income they can make. You can't disclaim income numbers because that you can't do that because everyone's different. But the fact of the matter is, people can use this business to generate an income while they're at home. The income they generate is dependent on how much they're willing to work. But yet we have to understand and believe in the value of the business. And the second thing we have to do is we have to stop spending other people's money. Come on, somebody. If you are not somebody's accountant, if you are not their CPA or their financial planner, would you please do me a favor and stop deciding what you think somebody else can do financially, because the moment you do that, you are robbing them of a blessing that can change their life. We have no right to do that. We spend other people's money like it's, I can't talk to Jody because right now she's financially strapped. I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago. This will knock your socks off. And she was upset. Her neighbor, she's been in the business for 2 years. Never talked to her neighbor. Her neighbor ended up losing her job. Her neighbor's at home with the kids that are now being homeschooled. Her husband has a construction business where he had to lay off half of his employees. So they're struggling financially. Well, she's upset. She's telling me this on a call, that she joined somebody else's team. And she's all telling me, well, that person stole this person from me. I said, listen, just because someone lives next door to you doesn't give you a right to them unless you open your mouth and said something. I said, have you ever said anything to this person in 2 years? No. Well, then that person, she deserves to have her. You didn't say anything. I said, why did she join her team? What was why didn't you talk to her? Well, I just kind of felt, how could I talk to her with the situation? They just lost their job. Her husband laid off half his employees. And I said, okay, well then why did she join the other person's team if they're so broke? She said, well, the other person told me that her husband was a great money manager and they had 10 months of their income set aside in an emergency fund so they could live comfortably for 10 months. So getting started in the business wasn't a problem for them. Oh, wow. Don't be somebody else's accountant, CPA, or bookkeeper. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. This is your job. Share the blessing and let them decide if the blessing is for them. Don't decide for somebody it's not for them, because you could be destroying somebody's life that could really be changed because of what you do. I believe this with every fiber of my being. I've said this in my own business when I was building it. When you have something like your business that in this time can really help someone, and because of your own insecurity, you don't share it with them, that is irresponsible. I believe we have a responsibility with this gift we've been given, with the blessing that you have, to at least allow people to know, hey, this is available. I can help you. And if they say no, they say no. But the worst thing for me, the biggest fear I had in my business was having somebody come to me one day. Julie comes to me one day in a financial stress. She's losing her house in foreclosure, or she's filing bankruptcy, and she's a client of mine. She's a client of mine, and she comes to me one day and says, Jerry, I have a question to ask you. Why didn't you talk to me about this business 3 years ago when you sat down and talked with me the first time? I said, well, you know, Julie, I just didn't think, I just didn't feel, I just didn't know. Hold on, go ahead and mute it, Jody, and I'll mute myself. You want to mute everybody? Okay. I just didn't think, and I didn't know. And Julie says to me, well, don't you think that that was a decision that you should have let me make rather than you making that decision on my behalf? That was the biggest fear I had in my business, was somebody coming to me and saying, why didn't you? And so to alleviate that fear, I made sure no one could ever come to me and say that. And so, yes.
You said it's irresponsible. I'd like to add another word. It's selfish.
Absolutely. I wasn't going that deep, but Jody, dig deep, baby, dig deep. It is. It's selfish because listen, it's only irresponsible when you know. When this coronavirus started, Google put out a stat somewhere. I forgot where I saw it, but I saw it. That Google searches for home-based businesses increased 350%. That's huge. That means people are at home realizing, I don't know when I'm going back to work. I don't know if I'm going to get unemployment or if it's going to be enough. I better figure out, is there a way for me to make an income from home? They're Googling, they're looking, they're searching. And so it's irresponsible when you understand that. No, you've got a way to help people and choose to say nothing because you're afraid of what they're going to think. Do you know that more people are open to hearing the business right now than they were 6 months ago? More people are willing to listen to you if you would just say something to them. You say, well, Jerry, well, what do you say? I don't want to, I'm in a financial stressful situation. I'm struggling. Yeah, we all are. But the one thing I've learned is the sooner I focus on blessing others, then God blesses me in return. The sooner I take my eyes off my own circumstance and start helping others, the more my circumstance doesn't seem as bad, as big, as horrible. It doesn't mean that it's not real. We're all going through the real stuff, but there's a world of people that are hurting that need what you have, that are never going to know you have it if you don't say anything about it. You say, well, what do I say to these people? You just say, listen, if I could teach you how to generate an income from home, to help alleviate some of the stress you're going through financially, would you give me 15 minutes and just let me teach you how I can help you do that? Is it that hard to ask somebody that question? Well, Jerry, I'm just afraid they're going to say no. Okay, listen to this. Stop getting emotionally attached to an outcome you have no control over. Come on, somebody. Stop getting emotionally attached to an outcome you have no control over. You can't control who says yes or no, who joins or doesn't join, who comes in excited and then quits the next day. But we get emotionally attached to all these different things we have no control over. Instead of getting emotionally attached to an outcome you have no control over, how about if you get emotionally attached to doing the activity that will get you the results that you want? Let me ask you a question. And Jody, you can help me because I know what just came out. I read all the things and everything, so I'm very familiar with everything. But Jody, you can guide me on this so I cover myself. First of all, is it true that anyone that joins the business qualifies for peer pay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that means that everybody that joins the business has the potential to generate a weekly paycheck based on their activity level. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to understand what I just said. And I have an MVP verifying this to make sure I'm not going off the wrong path, because as I've said before, and I'll say it again, just to cover myself, you cannot make income disclaimers. You cannot talk to people about, well, you can make this much. You cannot share how much. And if somebody says, well, how much can I make? The answer is, it's all based on your efforts. You cannot disclaim income because you don't know. But here's a fact. people are struggling at home financially, worried about money. You have an opportunity. You have a business that can show somebody how to potentially generate a weekly income to help alleviate their stress. And we can't talk to people about that because we're afraid, we're nervous, we're scared. But talk about the healthy living for $266.40, no problem. Do you see the crazy discrepancy in our patterns of thinking? Listen, Jody, if I could teach you how to potentially, I could teach you how to potentially generate a weekly income while you're sheltered in place, help alleviate the stress, anxiety, and pressure you're going through financially. Would you give me 15 minutes to at least let me teach you how I can help you make that happen? Yes or no, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you the people who win in this business. It is not always the most talented. It is not always the most skilled. It is not always the people who know what to say and know how to do presentations. The people who win in this business are the people who turn into farmers. Now you're thinking to yourself, what? That's right. Get a cowboy hat, get a piece of straw in your mouth. It's time for you to become a farmer. And you're like, what in the world are you talking about? My pastor was raised on a farm. I've heard every farm story known to mankind in the 15 years I've been at church. I am absolutely convinced, Jody, that I could milk a cow now. I would not definitely want to do that, but I am absolutely convinced I could milk a cow. But the one thing that a farmer understands is the pattern that it takes to reap a harvest. Okay, so what is the farmer's goal? I want to reap a harvest. I want to reap a harvest of apple trees. What's your goal? I want to promote to area manager. I want to promote to VP. I want to promote to MVP. Wonderful. You don't sell your way, you build your way. So a farmer has a goal. He understands that he could go out to his plot of land, pray over it day and night for months on end, and nothing will happen. Why? Because a harvest cannot grow from a field where no seeds have been planted. Come on, somebody. A harvest of consultants will not come into your business from a field where you've planted no seeds. The person who plants the most seeds wins. It is not the most talented. I know people who have won in this business that I look at and go, are you kidding me? They plant a seed. But a farmer also knows this. Planting the seed is not it. Because if he plants the seed, prays and waits, that seed will eventually die in the soil. Because without the second point, the seed doesn't grow. And the second point is what? Water the seed. You got to plant, you got to water, then you harvest. And it goes in that order. So if you want to create this new pattern and stop thinking about selling, because it's so much easier, and think about this new pattern of I'm going to build while I sell, not just sell and forget to build, then you have to say, I've got to become a farmer and plant the seed of the business in the soil of people's minds. And it doesn't matter whether they say yes, no, not for me, don't care, call me in a few months. Why does it not matter? You have no control over that. All that matters is I planted the seed. And what does the watering in our business represent? Follow-up. You plant the seed and you water it with follow-up. And you don't plant two seeds and sit back and say, well, let's see how this harvest comes around. No, you plant two seeds And while you're watering those 2 with follow-up, you plant 2 more. And while you're watering those 4 seeds with follow-up, you plant 2 more. And when you water those 6 seeds, you plant 2 more. And you water and plant and water and plant and water and plant, and eventually you'll reap a harvest. But you're never going to do it if you don't first plant. How do you plant? You simply let people know that you have something that can help them financially in this time. And would they allow you to teach them how you can help them do that? Plant.
Jerry, this is
Yes.
phenomenal. I just think back to where you said it starts with having the belief, right? So when you think about a farmer and they're tilling the soil, they're getting things prepared. That's for us signing up for the business, right? And maybe joining the team calls, listening to the Johnna's Go for the Gold, all that. But they plant the seeds. They know there's going to be a harvest, right? If they didn't believe there was going to be a harvest, they wouldn't do the work. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's why belief is so important. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We don't believe, we don't plant, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And here, let me take that another step. With what you just said was so true. A farmer doesn't plant with doubt. A farmer plants with belief. I am going to reap a harvest. Now, as a farmer of people, you can plant a seed and say, I don't know if this one's going to harvest or not, but I know some of them will. And that's all I need to be successful, because not all of the seeds you plant in this business are going to turn into a harvest, but you'll never have the harvest if you don't plant enough seeds. So it all begins with that belief. I am planting, I am watering with follow-up, a harvest is going to show up. I don't know when, I don't know who, it doesn't matter. All that matters is I plant, I water, I harvest. Because right now, in this time, are when leaders rise up. You have to understand this, my friends. Listen to me. You are the light in a very dark world right now. You bring hope to families who have none. You bring answers to prayers that people prayed on their knees last night. You bring blessings to people that are just waiting for one to come. You have no idea the power of this moment of time. I believe that your business is needed more today than at any time that I've been here in the last 8 years. I believe that the willingness for people to listen to you is greater now than any time in the last 8 years. But you have to have the belief first and foremost that you've got something of value that can help people, and not just get stuck in the pattern of selling because it's easy. You got to create a new pattern that says, I need to be building while I'm selling. I've got to put both oars in the water. I got to row them together, because the greatest product I have right now is the business and a chance to teach people how to alleviate the stress they're under while they're sitting at home. You know, Ray Kroc, when he built McDonald's, at the height of McDonald's fame, there were 37,000 McDonald's locations all over the world. You couldn't go anywhere in the world and not find a Golden Arches. And one day, Ray Kroc was being interviewed by a reporter, and the reporter said to him, he said, so Ray, so what business would you consider yourself to be in? Are you in the fast food business? Are you in the franchise business? And Ray Kroc's response to the reporter is, he said, no, I'm in the real estate business. And I thought to myself, the man who built the largest fast food chain in the world never focused on the food. He focused on building the locations that would end up selling food, and the more places he had, the more food that got sold automatically without any more food sold from the original location that he bought. He was a literal genius of his time. And to think about how much building can make you in a business, I went 10 years ago and sat with the gentleman who owns all the McDonald's in our area. There's 13 of them in our area. And now this was 10 years ago. So these numbers could be different. I'm just going to share what I talked about 10 years ago. And we were sitting down, I was doing a financial plan for him. And I said, listen, Mohammed, out of sheer curiosity, what does an average McDonald's gross in revenue every month? Okay, gross revenue, what does it make? He says, well, on average, a McDonald's franchise will gross about $1 million a month, some more, some less, but about $1 million a month. So I stopped right there and thought, $1 million in gross revenue times 37,000 locations. I don't know how much, I think it's 37 billion. I don't know how much, that's a big number. And then I said to him, and then he says, but every franchisee has to pay the Ray Kroc Foundation 1.5% of the gross revenues from every location. And that covers the cost of advertising, the commercials, the legal stuff, the use of the trademark, the use of the logo. And then I started thinking, $1 million a month, 37,000 locations, 1.5% of that. And the man never focused on the food. He focused on growth. My friends, it is time for you to become the Ray Krocs of your business. It is time for you to stop just thinking about the food and start thinking about locations that could sell the food alongside you. And you say to yourself, well, Jerry, we don't have locations. We don't have brick and mortar buildings. I mean, what is a location? Well, I'll tell you what I think it is. Now, I have to preface this very carefully. I'm not saying that this is what Jody believes or Julie. This could be the last call I'll ever do after this, but this is what I believe from understanding the business, okay? If I'm building the business today, once again, I just need to make sure I preface this very clearly. This is my perspective only. If I'm building the business today and I'm thinking of what Ray Kroc did, locations, 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 volumes of things sold through the location. What does a location represent in this business? To me, a location to me, in my mind, in a business like this, would be a bonusing district manager. That's what would be my location. Why? Because everything really begins when somebody begins to bonus as a district. When they start really hitting that bonus, getting $200 a month extra from the company. Because from bonusing districts come areas. From areas come regions. Now you can say, well, what about districts? Nothing wrong with districts, but until you really start to bonus as a district, then it's not as real. People aren't as committed. But to me, if my mind was, I'm going to work on bonusing district manager locations, as many as I can get, all of a sudden, all of the volume that comes from that adds to my total volume. I'm still doing what I'm doing. Now my volume is exponentially grown. Now my income is exponentially grown because I'm building, not just selling. What a concept. What an amazing concept. But whatever your thought process is, this is what I know for a fact. If you want to win long-term, sustainable business, you need to break the pattern of selling and selling and selling and create a new pattern that says, I'm going to build while I sell. I taught this in my VP coaching group, 4 years ago. And it's more appropriate now than it was back then. And this was our mantra in our VP coaching group. We will be builders of people, not just sellers of products. And notice the wording. We will be builders of people, not just sellers of products. Let me teach you the power of your words. One word changes the whole meaning of a sentence. I will be a builder of people, not just a seller of products, which means I'm going to do both. Take out the word just, one word. I'm a builder of people, not a seller of products. Changes the whole dynamic of that sentence with one word. The point is, careful the words you speak out of your mouth. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. You have to choose life. The children of Israel wandered around a desert for 40 years because of negative thinking and negative speaking. Moses sent out 12 spies to spy out the land that God had already promised them was theirs. And 40 days later, 10 spies come back and tell Moses, oh my gosh, there's giants in the land. There's no way we're going to take this land. Then Joshua and Caleb come back and say, yep, there's giants in the land. There's some big people, but our God's bigger, and we should go in at once and take the land. They saw the same things. They saw the same exact things. But the 10 spies started speaking the negative, the discouraging, oh, it's too big. Joshua and Caleb were like, yeah, that's true. But hey, we could still do it. Just like this virus. Yes, this virus sucks. It's terrible. But this too shall pass. We will get through this. SARS came around. We got through that. Ebola came around. We got through that. H1N1 came around. We got through that. And listen, let me tell you something. I pray every day, every morning. If you have had any family members at all that have been affected by this coronavirus, you need to know I am praying for you. If you have had any family members or friends that have died because of this virus, just know that I pray every morning for all of these people. If you are on the front lines, risking your life to help bless people who are strangers to you because of your passion, know that I am praying for you. This is a real deal. But the words we speak have so much power. And these 10 spies sent so much negativity into the camp. Joshua and Caleb came back with a positive report. Nobody cared. They were listening to the negative. They said to Moses, Moses, this is too much. Let's go back to Egypt. Let's go back to being slaves. And the negative words of 10 people spread through the camp of 2 million, and they ended up wandering around the desert for 40 years on a journey that took 11 days because of what they thought and what they spoke. Watch what you speak during this time, my friends. Watch the things you say over yourself. Watch the things you say about your business. Man, I am a winner. I'm an overcomer. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to earn that promotion. I'm going to bless people. I'm going to change people's lives. I'm a builder of people, not just a seller of products. I'm going to go help people with this business. I'm going to teach them how they can make an income while they're sheltered in place. I'm going to build a team while I help other people. Watch what you speak, because your words have power. So my friends, it's time to break the pattern, not just for the next 4 days, every month. You need to break that pattern and say, I'm going to build and sell, not just sell and build. I'm going to put both oars. I'm going to row them together. I'm going to plant a seed. I'm going to water the seed. And the one who plants the most seeds will eventually win the game. If you get out of this call, that mindset, and you can start working on adjusting that and doing that, my friends, I'm telling you, you are going to be one of those people that actually build a stable, growing business. While everyone else's business will do this or maybe do that, this and this only happens to people who don't build, they just sell. But the people who build while they sell are the ones whose businesses are going to keep on going, just like the Energizer Bunny. They're going to keep going and going and going, but it's not going to happen if you don't share the blessing of the business with everyone you come in contact with. So Jody, that is my message for today, my friend. And we can open it up for questions, comments, whatever anyone's got. I'm impressed, Jody. This is impressive. We kept everyone on the call till the end. No one left. That's impressive. That could be a first.
Oh my gosh, yes, and I didn't have to threaten or bribe. It was all you. I think it's an important message, and everyone realized that. And I do want to open for questions, but I just have to say this first. I've shared this with my region. I have a ENVP friend, Bobby Peters, who said, you know, it's interesting. Everybody looks at a fizz stick as something that can provide energy. She goes, I look at it as something that can provide a new life. And so really in changing our mindset, I got a text right before this started from a customer that received the wrong foundation. Hey, the buff is a little too light, you know, sorry to bother you, but is there any way you could help me get another color? Our conversation, to me, I already know she has a daughter that's in college. I already know her situation. Every encounter can be, hey, I'm going to help and serve you. And then ask, do you know somebody? What's your situation? How can I help? So in these 15-minute presentations, you guys, do some calls with your team on how these are an opportunity to be exposed to people for the business. Yes, we're doing $150 bundles in them, right? But that's the Big Mac, the healthy Big Mac, right? We're looking to build a real estate empire and to build our franchises around the world. And we're doing that through that modality, whatever it is. Okay, anybody else have any questions for Jerry or comments?
I have a comment. We just think we value every single person that's on this Zoom call, Jerry, and we just think they're the best, and we want the best for them. And that's why we wanted you, because we believe that you're the best.
Oh.
Your motives are pure, your wisdom is vast, and we just thank you.
Oh, Julie, you are such a blessing, my friend. I wish I could give you I'm going to give you a virtual hug right now.
Okay.
I'm giving you a virtual hug.
I got it.
I always tell Jody this. I said, man, mother-daughter, parent relationships are never easy in any capacity, but man, what a blessing that you guys have each other. And Julie, you have been one of those, just those legendary leaders in the business. I mean, let's just call it what it is, that has always supported me from the beginning. Even when the noise was so loud and people were talking, you always looked beyond that to know who I was as a man of God, as a man of faith. And that means more to me than anything Jody did as well. And that's why I do these things for people once in a while, because the people that were there for me when they didn't need to be there for me, this is how I pay them back and say, thank you for always sticking by my side. Means a lot to me. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate that more.
I'm sure everyone on this call feels the same gratitude toward you.
Thank you, my dear.
We feel your boot print on our buns.
But remember, it was done with love. That's the key.
I know, it feels so good.
I have to just tell you a quick story just in a second. I always get asked, how did you come up with yelling with love? And the answer is I didn't. It's not my thing. I was at a meeting, an in-home training meeting one day with one of your dear friends, Julie, Donna Weiser. And I was in her house. We were doing a meeting. And one of the young girls came up and said, hey, can I take a picture with you? I said, sure. So I took a picture, and she posted it on Facebook, and then it was a hashtag yelling with love. And I thought to myself, oh no. So I called her back. I says, hey, you got to remove that hashtag. She says, why? I said, where'd you get that from? She says, well, it's kind of like you're yelling, but you're yelling with love. I said, I don't want people to think I'm yelling. She says, well, it's just passion. Don't worry about it. She would not remove it. And then about a year later, when I actually was able to go to GTC, and I went to my first GTC, Gina was just like, she had to just leave me because she just couldn't take it. People would literally walk the hallways. Oh, it's Jerry. He's the one that yells with love. Oh, can we take a picture? Gina finally said, honey, do me a favor. Enjoy what you have. I'm going to the pool. And I couldn't go anywhere without people. So that became how people connected themselves to me, is hashtag yelling with love. So I just decided to keep it and have fun with it. So that's what we do. That's why we do it.
Love it.
No problem, Carla. You got it, my dear. All right. Any other questions? If not,
if nobody has a question, do you want to repeat that verbiage? Because, that's kind of what came up on our coaching call when I was like, gosh, how could I have been more effective in leading her to a conversation about Arbonne? And so you had said, if I could show you a way.
Yeah. And I don't know how well this works now, Jody. But I don't see anything wrong with it because there's no disclaimers of any kind. But I would basically, if I was doing it, and this is just me, it's just teaching people, if I could teach you or show you how you can generate an income from home to help alleviate some of the stress, anxiety, and pressure you might be under. And see, when you say, if I could show you how to generate an income, number one, that's what you do in a business, is generate an income. But the most important thing about that is you're not disclaiming anything. You're not telling them, if I could teach you how to make $1,200. No, you're not. You never mention an income, because you can't put a claim out there, because everybody's income is based on what they do. So, but there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, to just say, if I could teach you how to generate an income while you're at home, to help alleviate, and that's the key to it. Don't just go to somebody, hey, if I could teach you how to generate an income, or would you? No, to help alleviate some of the stress, the pressure, the anxiety that you're feeling or going through or dealing with. You know, would you give me 15 minutes to just sit down and show you how I can help potentially help make that happen for you? Yes or no? Doesn't matter. Seed. That's all I thought. Seed. Didn't matter what their answer was, because I know that you never plant a seed and eat the fruit the same day. So it didn't matter what they said. All I knew is seed. The one who plants the most seeds wins. There's another. There's another. There's another. Oh, time to go water the seed with follow-up. Okay, not interested right now? No problem. I'll check with you in a week. I'm going to keep planting, keep planting, keep planting. And before you know it, you've got so many seeds in the ground, somebody's got to say yes. And that's how you reap a harvest, little by little.
And I like weekly income instead of just income. I like how you said weekly income, because it's true.
And it is, and once again, I don't think there's any problem with that, because once again, you're not telling people, and that's why you've got to use potentially. Yeah. Because just because somebody has the ability to earn a weekly income through Pure Pay doesn't mean they will if they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it's important to use the word potentially. If I could show you how you could potentially, because that means it's really up to your efforts. So you have to just be really careful. There's a lot of, you got to be careful with words now. So just be careful and don't disclaim things that you shouldn't disclaim. Just bottom line is, if I could teach you how to potentially, earn a weekly income, and you can if they do something.
Yes. Love it. Love it. It's just too simple.
It's too easy. Yeah. It's all up here. Yes. It's all in mindset.
Awesome. So, well, you guys, this was recorded. Replay it. Make sure your team hears it. We want to develop a culture of rowing with both oars.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jerry. Appreciate
you guys.
Love all of you. Let's close out the next 4 days strong, you guys, and plant as many seeds as we can.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jody.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. Love you, Julie. Love you, Jody.
Bye. Oh, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks,
Jerry.